I asked boyfriend to use oven instead of the microwave. 4.5 years ended over a frozen fish meal. I have autism. Certain smells don't just bother me, they rewire my entire day. There is one meal my boyfriend loves that I cannot be in the same zip code with when it's being heated. The smell clings to every surface of the microwave for weeks. I've tried cleaning it, I've tried ignoring it, I've tried leaving the house. Nothing works. It gets into everything we cook afterward, and I can taste it in food that has nothing to do with fish, and on my whole nervous system just short circuits. So when he grabbed it off the shelf at the store, I said, as nicely as I know how to say anything, hey, can you please use the oven for that when you get home? The microwave holds the smell for months and it really affects me. That was the whole thing. That was the entire crime. He went silent in the car, the kind of silent that has weight to it. We got home and he put the meal in the freezer without a word and went to take a shower. I asked if he wanted me to cook it for him. He whispered no without turning around. I asked what he wanted to eat instead. Nothing. I said his name twice, thinking maybe he hadn't heard me. The third time I knew he had. I asked 4 times what was wrong and got nothing 4 times. I finally told him this was his last chance to tell me or I was moving on. He said he was upset that I told him how to cook his own food, that it didn't taste right from the oven. I told him that was completely fair. I told him to use the microwave if that's what he needed, just wipe it out with a Clorox wipe after. He said his appetite was gone. He walked past me without making eye contact, shut the bedroom door, and went to bed hungry. I stood in the kitchen alone, wondering how I had become the villain of a story about frozen fish. The thing is, that shutdown wasn't new. That was years of the same pattern. I'll go silent, refuse to talk, store everything up, then detonate it later in an argument where suddenly I'm controlling and selfish and impossible to live with. I had learned to give him a last chance warning, not because I'm cruel, but because if I didn't, whatever I said in the kitchen on a Tuesday would be used against me on a Saturday 3 weeks later, and I would have no memory of the original conversation to defend myself with. I posted about it online because I genuinely wanted to know if I was wrong. I have autism. I sometimes can't tell when I'm being reasonable and when I'm being too much. I needed outside eyes. What followed after that post was not about fish show anymore. We had argument after argument, big ones, the kind that pull the floor out from under you. Kids came up. He told me he hadn't wanted children for months. I want children desperately, and he knew that and had said nothing while I planned a future around it. He told me he thought about money more than love and relationships. He said it like it was a neutral observation. I told him I would rather be broke and happy than wealthy and hollowed out, and he looked at me like I'd said something naive. I told him his stonewalling was a form of abuse. Within an hour of that conversation, he was calling me names. The B word, the C word, things I won't repeat. He said later it was joking. I had specifically asked him that same day to stop joking at my expense until we found solid ground again. He got angry that I held him to it. Valentine's Day came. He handed me flowers and said I guess I'm off the hook now. He offered me a piece of cake and said I could have it if I let him film himself smashing it into my face to send to his friends. He thought this was funny. I stood there holding flowers from a man who had just offered me dessert as a humiliation, and I understood that I had been explaining myself to someone who was never going to hear me. I texted my parents that night. I asked them to help me get out. 4.5 years is not nothing. I loved him in the way that reorganizes your whole life around another person. I had plans with him. A house, children, a future that had his name written all the way through it. Leaving meant grieving something I hadn't lost to death or disaster, but to the slow accumulation of moments where he made me feel like existing with preferences was a personality flaw. I'm in therapy now. I have a surgery I've been putting off for myself that I'm finally scheduling. I'm writing again. I'm painting. I'm crocheting things with no purpose, other than the fact that making them makes me calm. I asked a man to use the oven. I lost a relationship I thought was my whole future. I gained back something I hadn't realized I'd been slowly handing over. Please be proud of me. I really need someone to be proud of me right now.